We're back. We haven't lost our ability to live stream yet. And hopefully we don't lose it until after I complete this book. The Trivium, Part 3. We are on grammar. And I am very excited. Very excited to get this book finished. It's been sitting on my shelf for years. And far too long. I've been putting away my responsibilities of a truth seeker. And wow, what a read. If you've been following along Part 1 and Part 2, there's some pretty interesting pictures here. Just show you. I'm not going to show you every single picture, but we're jumping into grammar, the structure of language. We just got done reading euphonics. Phonetics. Euphonics is a little bit deeper than phonetics. Phonetics just is for the language itself. Euphonics, is for the sound, like music and just the structure of sound. So grammar, the structure of language. Rachel Hawley. This book has multiple authors. You're reading grammar. Exact rules of grammar. I'm reading a picture, not even the introduction itself. Compofed and publish. It's not Compofed. Compofed. I want to say compiled. Compofed. Maybe it's Compofed. That's how it's spelled. For the infruction. INFTRUCION of all THOFE. It's like slash English, half Spanish, Latin. I don't even know what this is. Inflection of all the in the rudiments of the Latin tongue. So this is definitely Latin I'm trying to read. Instead of attaining their mere exact than formally. I'm not even gonna try to read that. I'm reading this stuff right here. It's I'm not even gonna attempt to continue reading because I'm not gonna waste your guys' time. Nonetheless, introduction. If you are reading this book, you are already have some notion of grammar. As your eyes scan this page, your brain derives meaning from the symbols printed here. Knowing that words come in a certain order and that different types of words fulfill different functions, links to inform, to reason, debate, and argue. It helps us study, build, and use complex things. Excuse me, jeez. Sorry, guys. Helps us build. Shouldn't have had that soda. I usually don't drink soda, but nonetheless, we're continuing. Helps us study, build, and use complex things from recipes to spaceships. Aristotle and the Stoics thought that grammar, although whereas in 14th century Northern Europe, a group known spelled MODI as pre-Fertum, and in classical times, students would painstakingly work through famous texts, analyzing the syllable by syllable. Logic is the right sentence. These pages will at least for grammar. ARDENT. I like that word. Ardent. Page 58. And a letter is in parentheses, so that's what grammar means. A letter. Itself related to grapho, to draw, made it possible to write and read text, philosophy, and science, and perhaps more of such to depict the meaning of the Chinese script being, on the other hand, spelled we pronounce knife. Sound when phonographic. Interesting. Sometimes it doesn't always seem that way. As are the scripts used for Hebrew, Russian, but hey. Pronunciation, these generally, and a of phonetics, which is written down a lot of buy the book if you're interested. This one's a cool one though, the Charlotte Cothic Rock. And these aren't even the earliest of languages. Established in Indian Sanskrit written Nini around 450 BC. Of Sanskrit is inflection. Ships. In English, Divasa or Divasaya, Diva S-Y-A, Saya, of the god. Sanskrit is an Indian language family. I thought there was one older than that language, or is it the language that are older? Our precise grammar, who taught in Alexandria, and when Latin, while the grammar of younger language during the later became the rule of different types of Romanian. There's many brains. The British Isles of immigration, Stone Age quest, a huge wave of Anglo-Saxon immigration from what is now northern Germany and Denmark. Fast to highlight a few of these conquest methods, like the trade. All right. Just as the language was beginning, of new French terms, judge, government, and the rules of inflection compatible. So most people soon began to ignore both systems, resulting in the fact that 3 is little inflection at all in English today. Modern English thus emerged as a hybrid language, about 28% Latin, 20% French, and words, and its grammar and pronunciation remain in flux. It now functions, and its grammar, it now functions. People that receive, and we are now in tense. There are at least 5 different ways to do this combination. So un and lock can combine to form the or Russian loves modern Indo-European nation. In languages such as Chinese, however, the same syllable can have completely different meanings depending on the shape of tone, contour. Words change to express a different relation. So the word see can be inflected to saw, conveying tense, to infect conjugation. Through English has where in Middle English it once became thee. I give thee for the accusative and dative thy hand. Thine eyes for the possessive. The example below shows how the conjugations of the verb to make modern English. Here we go. Old English, itch, make. Middle English, I make. Modern English, I make. Still the same. Akist. For modern English, he makes. This is actually going to be very useful for some of my D&D sessions I host. Old English, we make in. Middle English, we make. Modern English, we make. We make stayed the same. Old English, Middle English, they make. Modern English, I saw the angel. Genitive, Genitive, my or his angel, Ingles, angel. Yikes. Which uses no inflection and is comprised of one-syllable particles, similar to in serving as rules, and declination remains, for the most part, merely in the personal pronouns, an apostrophe indicating the angel's wings with an apostrophe. Both thoughts are more intense, but has a certain meaning. Interesting. Speakers and listeners who agree on the meaning of a word have come to terms. They understand what they are talking about. Each term can those which describe subjects who first began to count later began to wonder if these categories were somehow appears timeless, that indicate relation in number, time, space. a noun specific tree, but listed in a definition. A verb describes the action. Let's continue. E.g., cannot. Always associated with substances. In most cases, they are what speech is really about. In the sentence, the man drives a car, and what he is and does is here completely determined by the act of driving. The other challenging the action of the word. And when applied to a verb, it is or behind. There are thus five levels of wit. Morphemes, fire adjectives, determiners, etc., and adverbs. All things I need to learn, as well as whatever the other words are, like, and I got types of speech. By the end of the 2nd century BC, grammarians were identifying 8 categories of words. In 500 AD, and added a new category, auxiliaries, and words are often grouped into in parentheses part express action in expressions of emotion, wow, exclamation mark. Pronouns, which is under the context of closed structure. I listed all the ones above were from context that was opened. Pronouns, words that stand in for nouns. Determiners, articles modify nouns. Auxiliary verbs express actions and states. Conjunctions, connecting words. Preposition me right now. Content words carry the meaning new words is the new noun locavore, meaning one who eats locally grown food. That is very cool. Is and very limited in number, rarely admitting new words. Content words and structure words each make up about 50% of most pieces of writing. The most commonly used English content words are year, give, day. The most common of the meaning of words is the beginning of education. Antisthenes, education. And that wall, who dwells in those houses, come before nouns and tell its hour there. Ruse which what rules there before a noun. 2 donkeys first night. Numerals, okay. And that is page 70 next. The noun phrase, the thing is taken, rules now apply. For example, the solid air qualities are also, for example, the statements such terms. Grammatical rules deal with certain qualities that words carry. Phrases and inflections changed declinations. In inflecting Indo-European languages, nouns carry 3 such intrinsic qualities: number, gender, and case. Singular and plural pairs, a bit like the 20. Interesting. Gender. English does not use gender, preserving the idea in have 2 or even 3 genders. In German, der Mond, the moon, is masculine, while das Mädchen, the maiden, is neutral. Note, grammatically, gender is not the same as Peters, but older Indo, non-possessor of another something, or indirect object of an action. He gave something to the horse. Okay. The horse ran. The agent of the action ran is the horse. The horse is a nominative. Genitive. The term is possessor of another term. The horse is stable. The horse is genitive. Or the stable is genitive. I don't know. Dative. The term is receiver, something indirect object of the action. He gave something to the horse. The term, god damn, dude, this is so much information. The action. She rode the horse on the track. Vocative, nom, equal in Latin, preferred, acc, is the next gender and birthday is gender form. prince slash princess slash moon. Ho. The name of the game. Example opposite and the emphasized words below. S. Nail. And pale. Staring owl. Starring owl. To who. To who. To hit. At least the way I doth blood. And marinely sings its starring owl. To who? To hit. Jeez. Animate. Paper. Proper nouns refer to persons, places, geography, Asia, and Amazon River Sunday. Have a single. Liberty is now a noun. Nouns for mass. Cotton is different than a cotton thing. Composed of individual members referred to collectively. Team, class, electorate, parliament, flock. Pronouns. I, me, myself, and you, we, and them. Pronouns are words that stand in for nouns or other pronouns. They allow us to refer to a word that has already been mentioned without having to the people or things involved in a text, and change to reflect person, number, gender, and case. Subjective, I, you, them. Possessive, my, your, his, hers, its, our, your, their are all pronoun examples. Subjective pronouns act as these you care of us, don't tell, they'd banish us, you know. Okay, so again, subjective is more like questioning, objective is more like exclamation mark at the end. Reflexive for emphasis, you know, are Malay are. Other types of pronouns include English, each other, or one another, to one another. Kinds of things. Where do they touch upon absolute truth? That's a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. Identify nouns. This, that, these, those, such. There are 3 classes of. Leonardo da Vinci said that. Wow. Always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Mark Twain. Such as we are made of, such we be. William Shakespeare. Is whatever now not an integrated pronoun? It has to be, right? By any other name if it was called or things in a vague or general way. Any, anything, anybody, anyone, some, something, somebody, someone, none, no one, nothing, nobody, none, either, neither, both, each, all, everything, everybody, everyone. Trying to please everybody, I please nobody. Richard Wright. Clauses. A noun that has already been mentioned and give more information about it. Who, whose, whom are used for people, which, what, that refer to things. The person, be it gentleman, tolerably sold on the mind, under compulsion, obtains no hold on the mind. I hope I'm not compulsively reading this, because I ain't absorbing shit. If the essence or definition of wine is alcoholic beverage made by the fermentation of grape juice. Plato thought of nouns as representing ideas rather than things, and nouns demonstrate that the easiest way to evoke a thought. So if I say Shakespeare, you may immediately visualize someone. This doesn't work with the general words like cat or abstract concepts like reaction to distinguish her. Handed around the noun woman using attribute expanding noun phrases are articles. Articles. Particles. No, it is a tree. Define whether we are talking about one specific element of the idea, the car, or their car, or any member a car. In a noun slash geese count can also be included. For example, relative size means relatives. Any other qualifiers closely related to the noun. Adjectives in English do not take specific form. although there are very CTIV or the person material and purpose included in the term's definition. Alcoholic wine, straight curve, adjectives ingratable. A very tall person, a taller person, quite a tall person, a slightly tall person, an absurdly tall person, the tallest person. Excuse me. The ERS apostrophe with nothing at the end of chestnuts shaped like the waistcoat swing out into the APOPLECTIC opulence, apoplectic opulence. There were broad girth Spanish onions shining in. I wish I explained my D&D sessions like this. Broad girth Spanish onions shining in the fatness of their growth, like Spanish friars, Friars, FRIARS. The hung up, there were bunches, conspicuous, SPIC, shufflings, ankle, biffins. The frick is a biffin, dude? Blackness of their juicy persons to be carried. Attributive adjectives may be attributive or predictive. Attributive adjectives are qualitative adjectives which are placed in front of noun that they modify. A large nose is the mark of a witty Cyrano de little cakes called petits madeleines. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm just gonna. Adjectives follow such linking verbs as be, seem, become, or appear and give. That's simply because people can only be used attributively. Well, René Descartes. While others are restricted, not I am afraid, but not used both attributively and predictively. The fool more silly than this is a quick one. Very large nose. And adjectives, degrees of comparison are fairer, happier, but shall be yet far. Adjectives can be qualitative, round, demonstrative, tying, annual, to describe each said quote. 80. I am going to explode if I try to read any more. I need to digest that information, reread that chapter again and again and again for many years to come, because that grammar is everything I should. Nonetheless, I hope you guys just wish you guys nothing but peace, joy, love, truth, health, wealth, friends, family, prosperity, all the good things I didn't mention and more. I want you to wake up, all the negative bullshit. Nonetheless, guys, that's all I got. What picks me up is your loving soul, and every time that I come home, I get to see you in your fancy clothes. But if this time ever has to come to an end, don't you cry, just smile because it happened. That's our family, you plus me with a barbecue in the backyard, bunch of crazy kids out